Hello viewers, welcome to this video. This is Hemant. In this video, we'll cover how to connect to Linux VM from Visual Studio Code. So to connect to VM from Visual Studio Code, we have to first ensure that Visual Studio Code is installed. So we'll go to the browser and we'll search for Studio Code. So it will store at the top of the link. So first one will be the code.visual studio code. So you can download the installer and you can do open the exe file, click on next and install. So here I'm not going to cover the installation steps. So let's go to the main part. So ideally to connect to Vagrant, to connect the Vagrant Linux to Visual Studio Code. So you can a sample configuration you can have. You can remove the port. A port is not required, not a mandatory one. And ensure that you have a bootstrap.sh is configured with this configuration so that whenever the VM is up, it will ensure password authentication is enabled and root permission is allowed, and it will set the password by default automatically. So let's go. So if you see here, I have Vagrant here. So we'll bring up the Vagrant session up. So yeah, earlier we have updated server name here in this Vagrant, and as well as we have exposed the port. So here it shows that we have exposed the port from 80 to 8081. Not sure, somehow it didn't show earlier in the previous video. So now it's showing up like what are the ports it's exposing to the laptop or desktop. Yeah, let's wait for the system to be up or a VM to be up. Yeah. So before that, we have few prerequisites here in this. So when after installing Visual Studio Code, you will not have all these extensions installed. So you have to install few extensions which are required for connecting to Linux VM. So we'll go to extensions by clicking this icon, and let's search for remote-sh. So you will have two extensions. So first one remote-sh. So click on install. So I have already installed. So you don't see install button. So click on this and you will see the install button and click on install. And similarly, you have to install remote-sh editing configuration file. So this will help in editing the .sh configuration file. And another extension is Remote Explorer. So if you type Remote Explorer, you will get this. Uh, so you will get the installation button for this. So you can click on install there and you can close the extension. These are the three prerequisites for Visual Studio to connect to Linux VM. So we'll hide this one. So we'll close this. Let's see if, yeah, Linux is up. So let's minimize this. So we'll click on here to open the remote window, and we'll see we have multiple options. So I want to connect to a VM host from current window. So I will click on current window and add new SH, and we'll give SH root, SH space root at the rate Bitroid server, and we are going to save the configuration in users human.sh config file. Click on this. So config file is added. Again, we'll go to Remote Explorer, click connect current window to host. Yeah. So here it's already configured the host. So we'll click on this. Now it will ask which type of OS we are connecting to. So it's a Linux OS, and we'll enter the password for this. So if you observe here, so it's installing a VS Code server in the Linux. So so if you see here, we are connected to Linux server. So let's go to terminal and click on new terminal. So it's directly opening the terminal with SH connected to the server. So we'll do LSF and LTR. Yes, here we are, and we'll see systemctl status nginx. Yeah. So this is the nginx service we have up, or the nginx app we have installed it here in the previous sessions. So okay. If you observe here, so to connect to interact with Linux, so by default Visual Studio Code install VS Code server. So if you type VS, it will install this VS Code server that will interact with Visual Studio Code and Linux, and you can write the code from here, like code main.py, and you can write any code. So I'm writing, for example, hello world, and you can execute this Python program from here itself. If you do right click, okay, I think the right click run is for Windows, not for this Linux integrated one. You can directly, what you can do, you can type run. You can go to this terminal and you can type Python main.py. So here we have installed 3.12. Let's use 3.12, and main.py. It has executed the same Python file. So whatever we are writing in the UI, it will reflect same in the Linux server. And once you save it, it will be saved in the Linux server, and you can directly run in the Linux server. So this is about integrating the Visual Studio Code with the Linux VM. So, so this would be a last video of mine, and for this tutorials, I have prepared one GitHub repository which has example files, so you can access the exercise files from this URL. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining this session. Have a good day.